Hello everybody, Bruce here with a Module 5 tips and tricks video that I'm just going to wing and just hopefully provide you with some useful information that's going to help you with the assignment in Module 5. So I'm just going to start off for a second, and I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop. I'll just call it Mod 5. I'm just going to open that up. And I want to go over something that I've been helping several of you with. I'm going to create a new file. I'll call it Demo1.Pi. Close the sidebar. Make the screen full screen. And just to go through this for a second, let's say you have a variable called rock group. And in there you have a string of characters, and this one happens to be Alice Cooper, right? And let's say you were asked to print out every other letter in that string, right? In the variable rock group that contains the string Alice Cooper, right? So you could do this, right? You can say for every letter in rock group, right, like this, right? And then print out that letter, right? So if I run this, right, strings are iterable, right? That means you can iterate through them one character at a time. And if I run this, right, you can see here I get each of the letters printed out. But let's say that you wanted to print out every other letter of the string here. So, and this, by the way, this example here, if you go into Canvas and you look at the these Monday demo files, this zip file here, this contains a whole bunch of examples that the remote section got to see during lecture, right? So check this out. If I say for I in range of the length of rock group, which says I want to use a counted loop, right, to iterate through the string rock group. But hear me out. If I print out I here, right, if I print out I'm just going to comment this out, and I run this is just going to give me the numbers 0 through 11, right, because the length of this string is 12 characters. And for I in range of 12, that's what this is really doing. It iterates 12 times, but we start counting at 0, right? So that's how we got this, right? So if you do something like this, where you say rock group sub I, right? Sub I. So positionally go into that string at 0 to get the A, and then 1 to get the L, 2 to get the I, etc. If you do this, it's going to work, and then it's going to barf, right? Watch this. Actually, no, that worked. Why did I think it was going to barf? All right. So it printed out, right, the same thing as we did before here in the terminal, right? So we said for I in range of 12, right, print out rock group sub I, and that was able to go into the string, again, positionally, and grab each of those characters and print it out, okay? And again, this is demonstrated in those example demo files, and you can find them in Module 5 in Canvas. Now, what if you were asked to print every other letter out? Every other letter out. So print out the A, and then the I, and then the E, right? And then the C, right? So how would you do that, right? So you would do another loop for I in range. Now, we need to start at position 0, go up to the length of rock group, okay? This is where it's going to barf, I think. And then go up by 2 during each iteration of the loop, right? So if you go back to modules 1 and 2, I believe, when I introduced you to a counted loop, this range can have more than one parameter, right? This is where it starts. This is where it goes to but doesn't include, and this says how much to step up or step down by. So if I use what I did above here and I said print, right, this sub I, right, let me just do this, and let me comment this stuff out, okay? And let me run this, and I think we're gonna see down here, right, it printed out A, I, E, C, O, O, E, right? So going back to our string, right, A, I, E, C, O, P, excuse me, A, I, E, C, O, E, right? So did we not print out every other letter right there? Did you see that? So that's in one of the problem sets that you have, where you have to print out every other letter. Now, again, the concepts here that I showed here, where you can print out every letter because strings are iterable, that's one thing you need to know. And the other way to do it is this method here, where you're using range, generating a number, and then using that number, you could call it Fred, it just doesn't matter, and using that to index into the position within the string. All right, so I wanted to show you that. I get this question a lot, okay? The next thing I wanted to show you is, I'll just call this Demo2.Pi, is if I have a list of grades, right? I'll just say 100, 200, 300, 400. What kind of grades are those? Those are 100, comma, 99, comma, I don't know, 10, comma, 25, comma, 55, right? And if I wanted to sum up those grades, right, I can say the sum, that's just a variable I created, equals sum, which is a function inside of Python for a list, right? Do that, and if I print it out, the sum, right, the sum here, and I ran this, right, you can see here, right, that it's 289, right? And then if I wanted to print out the average, I could then divide the sum by the length of the grades list, right, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get the average, right? And there it is right there, all right? So I just wanted to show you that. All right, so strings are iterable. You can use a loop to iterate to get one character at a time. Lists are iterable, where you can get one element at a time, right? Another thing I want to show you, okay, is if you can actually, if we go back to our friend rock group here, equals, right, we'll do, I don't know, we'll do, who should, what's a rock group? I don't know. The Who, all right, I'm old, all right? So I need to name this correctly, Demo3.Pi, right? So now I have my syntax highlighting, right? Let me just show you this. If I print out, right, rock group sub 0, right, what's that going to print out? Capital T, Bruce. That's right. It's going to print out the capital T because that's at position 0, right? So what if I did this, right? What if I replaced that variable with just that string, the Who, just like that, and I did that? And this is kind of different, right? This is, instead of a variable here like I did before with rock group and 0, right? Yeah, so you could do this, right? If I do here, if I do -1, right, that's going to print out the O, right? If I do 4, what's that going to print out? Let me see right here. It's going to print out, right, W, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, and the W is 4. So I just wanted to show you that. There is actually a problem on one of the problem sets that has you do something just like this. I think it has in it something like this. It wants you to make the code work like this, FFC DCBA. And it wants you to like fix the code somehow. Maybe something is missing. I don't know. Maybe it's that. I just don't remember. But I just wanted to show you this concept, all right? All right, so I'm going to head into Canvas now, and I'm going to show you, I think it's right here, right Let's see, is it additional sample code and examples? Let me see if this is it. Let me see if this is it. No, it's not that one. Okay, hold on. Oh, I should show you this because somebody brought this up. If you click on that, right, I'll go back to module 5 and click on download additional sample code and examples. When you get this, just click this right there, and you'll be brought to this page here where you can then see all these different examples of different, code and stuff like that. And then you can click on code and download the zip file. You don't need to clone this because this is my repository and you have no rights to it. So you don't need to clone it. You just want to download the zip file. And when you do that, it downloads the zip file, which you can then extract and open up in VS Code, right? So going back here, just to show you this, going back to module 5, where are you? Let's see, download repository, GitHub repository containing code examples, all code examples. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, so this is it, by the way. This is all of the code examples from the book. So you wanna have this. And in chapter 5, right, all the example code in the book, this is it. This is all the code from the book. So you want to be sure and download that stuff, all right? So that's another tip that I had for you. I know there's a lot of stuff. Unit 5 is ginormous, right? So let's see. There's another one here. Chapter 5, review questions. Where are you? GitHub containing all code examples. Where was this one? Hold on. Skill building, right? Here it is right here. So if you click on this, the skill building, right, for module 5, and you download the zip file, download that zip file. I'm going to do that right here. Double click it. There it is. I'm just going to drag it into VS Code. And here it is, right? These are some of the exercises inside, that I'm providing you, all right? And one of the problems is an acronym generator. So this is very similar to one of the homework problems. It's almost identical, where you enter a sentence, like Bruce teaches classes at Clark College, and then it rips off the first letter of each word and creates an acronym out of it. The code right here is right here. It's kind of almost like one of the homework problems. The only difference is you need to add on a dot between the letters, because I wanted, if it were Bruce Lawrence Elgort, B-L-E, B.L.E. So I'm telling you this now, that this is the solution for one of your problem set problems. In fact, I'm going to show you how to do one more problem. And I think this is problem set 8. So let me show you that, all right? So, yeah, it's Friday night. I'm feeling good. Let's see here. I'm just going to create a new file. And I'm just going to call this, what am I going to call it? I'm going to call it piglatin.py. Piglatin.py, right? And let's just say I'm going to create a function called main. And then I'm going to call main. And then I'm going to get a sentence from the person, the human, that says, enter a sentence, okay? So what I'm going to do, by the way, I want you to read the problem so you can see what's going on. But Pig Latin, right? If I enter a sentence that says, I like pizza, right? In Pig Latin, it takes and adds on, right? It takes the first letter, puts it at the back, and then it adds a Y to it. So I-A, Ike, lay, right? Isa, P-A. So essentially what I'm doing, again, is I'm taking the first letter, moving it to the back, adding on a Y. Like, I'm taking the first letter L, taking it slapping it onto the back of the word and removing it from the front, and then adding a Y, right? So we want to be able to create this in code, and it's really simple, okay? Well, it's not simple, but I want to show you this concept, okay? So check this out. We're going to use the accumulator pattern, and this is probably the most important pattern, and I think I mentioned it in some of the videos that you'll ever use in, I don't know, in programming, at least I think. So I'm going to create a string here. I'm going to call it Pig Latin, and I'm going to set it to an empty string because that string is going to contain the converted sentence in Pig Latin, right? So what I need to do, right, to generate the Pig Latin here is I need to take the sentence that the user enters, right, and do something to it because I need to operate on each word, like I and then like and then pizza, right? I need to operate on each word one at a time. So check this out. I'm just going to create I'm going to reuse my variable sentence. I'm going to say, hey, take that sentence and split it. Split it. And by default, right, the split method inside of Python uses a space to do its splitting. And if you leave it blank, it's still a space. So I want to show you this for a second. So I'm going to, and I should be using the debugger here just to show you, but I don't have a lot of time. So check it out. Enter a sentence. I like pizza. And notice how it created a list that contains 3 strings. I like pizza, right? So now I have a variable that's called, what is it called? Sentence, right? That contains those 3 words, right? So what I can do now, and I'm just going to comment this out, is I'm going to iterate through the list for every word. And again, I could just make this I could make this Joe, I could make it anything I want, but I'm just going to make it for every word in sentence. Lists are iterable. You can loop through them. So if I print out word here, just to show you what's going on, everybody, right? Check it out. I like pizza. I like pizza, right? And it prints out, I like pizza, right? Because it's iterating through each word, and it's printing it out right here on line 11. So we're cooking with gas, right? So I'm not going to print it out now, but what I need to do is I'm going to use this Pig Latin variable here. I'm going to say, hey, Pig Latin variable, take your current version, this is the accumulator pattern of Pig Latin, and add onto it from the word, right, the characters starting at 1, going to the end of the string, and then I want you to add on to that the word's first letter, which is in position 0, add on the AY and put a space because we like spaces between our words. So just to show you this now, if I say, hey, print Pig Latin, and I run this, I like pizza. Notice how it does the first word, IA, right? Because that's the Pig Latin translation. IA, Eicle, that's the second word. And then finally, it's accumulating, right? Because it's continually building and adding on, appending, right, to this string, IA, Eicle, Isape, right? So that's how, right, I convert it to Pig Latin, right? So again, I'm using some of the methods, right? This is slicing. This is getting one letter, one character, right? Appending onto it a string. And you can use the plus sign to glue string stuff together, right? And there you go, right? Now, sometimes people like to be more verbose as beginners, and what they would probably do is do something like this. First letter equals the word sub-0, and then they're like rest of word equals words starting at position 1, going to the end, right? When you do it that way. And then they can replace these things right here, right, with just those variables, right? So this would be rest of word, and this would be plus first letter, right? And there, that does the same exact thing. And I probably only want to print it out once I'm done. And I'm going to do this, right? And I like pizza. And same result, right? There's no one way to do all these problems, right? So someone's going to say, hey, Bruce, what about the original sentence? Don't you want to show the original sentence? So what I could do right here is I can say original sentence equals the sentence that got entered. So I'm just telling I'm not good at spelling tonight. There we go. What I'm doing is saying, hey, Python, hold on to that value in this other variable called original sentence. And of course, VS Code is saying, hey, Bruce, man, you're not using that variable. So it's just giving me a little squiggly under there. So now I'm going to print out first above that, I'm going to say, hey, print original sentence, and then the Pig Latin version of it, right? So let me just do it. I'll just do I like turtles. I like turtles. Oops, I got an error because I probably did a sentence. Why don't you tell me? Okay, people out there, you're supposed to tell me I made a typo. Okay, I just couldn't hear you. I like pizza, right? Boom, there's the original sentence, and there is the Pig Latin sentence, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add in an F string here and say, again, this is new, right? This is new inside of, this is new inside of module 5. And then I'm going to say here, without screwing things up, original sentence, colon, and then I'm going to put the variable in these mustaches or brace, what do you call it, curly braces, and then I'll put F string. Again, you should really learn F strings. They are so easy to work with. Pig Latin, right? And then I'll put it in the flying mustaches there, and then I'll run it. And I have a syntax error. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Print F, Pig Latin. What did I do wrong? See, I make mistakes too. I make a lot of them, man. You don't want to. So this is giving me a little F print F. What's going on? Let me run this one more time. Invalid syntax, file, stamp, name, CD. What? What? You know, I think I borked VS Code somehow. Let me just try this again. Doink. Let me just run this. Yeah, well, I don't know. I like turtles. And now it prints out original sentence, I like turtles, and the Pig Latin sentence. I should have put original sentence, Pig Latin sentence, right? There you go, all right? So I hope this little example helped. The key takeaways were taking the input sentence, which is a string, splitting it, which puts it into a list of words, right? And then I'm iterating through the list, one element at a time, one word at a time in this case. I'm grabbing the first letter, storing that. I'm grabbing the second letter through the end of that word, storing that in a variable, and then I'm gluing it all together, and then I'm printing out the results. I don't want to go too long here, but let me just look at one more thing, just one more thing on problem set 8 to make sure I'm giving you all that I can, all right? So I'm going to click over here, reaccept, thank you, take me to my repo. That's not what I wanted. Why did I click that? Module 5, we've configured your repository. This may take a few minutes, so refresh the page. I'm not reading. Okay, there it is. So the first problem, right, is, let me see, that gets a string containing, see, this is that acronym, right? So you have the code for this. Problem 2, right, is the, what do you call it? The Pig Latin, yep. And problem 3, let's see what that one is. That asks you to enter a series of single-digit numbers with nothing separating them. All right, I'm going to show you. All right. So this problem wants you. In fact, I'll just talk you through it. All right, because I'm really talkative, and I apologize that I'm talking fast tonight. So I'll just say problem3.py. Right. So what this wants you to do, and I'm not going to put it in a function right now, is it wants you to get a string from a person that represents, say, the numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, or 1, 2, 1, 1. And it wants you to take those numbers one at a time and add them together. But how do you do that? It's a string, right? So let's just say user number equals input. Enter a series of digits, right, with no spaces, right? No spaces, right? No space, okay? Now, again, yes, we can, like, if I do this, print user number, and thanks for sticking with me, everybody. And if you send me the code word pad thai, as in the dish pad thai, extra credit, I'll note it down. And check it out, right? Enter a series of numbers. 1, 2, 1, 1. Enter. There it is. It's a string. Just so you know, it's a string right now. And if I did this, if I said, hey, what is the type? What is the type of that variable? What is the type of that variable? And I click play, and I do 1, 2, 1, 1. It says it's an str or a string, right? That's what we want here. That's what we want. So I'm going to comment this out. And remember I said the accumulator pattern is going to become your best friend, okay? And in the Pig Latin one, we were accumulating characters, right? But in this case, we need to add up 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. So how the heck do we do that, right? So let me share the little secret here. And you want to this is a tough one. This is a tough little problem. So check it out. I'm going to create a variable called the sum, and I'm going to set it to 0 because I'm going to use that variable to accumulate, right, the running total of 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, or whatever numbers the person enters, right? So check it out. For, right, I'm going to use a counted loop, and strings are iterable, right? So for every, I'll call it number in user number, right? So that's going to give me the string, just to show you, print number, right? What this is going to do, right, and I'll do it again here, 1, 2, 1, 1. It's going to give you each of these numbers, right? But it's a string, all right? It's a string. It's not a number. So what we need to do in here is we need to say, hey, the sum, this is the accumulator pattern, is the new value of the sum is the current running total of the sum plus the integer value of the number. So what this is going to do is force number to become an integer in the computer's memory, and then we're just going to use the accumulator pattern over and over again to add up the numbers. So we can say print, right, f string, the number entered by the person is, and I'm going to put in here user number, and the total of the numbers is the sum, and I'm using f strings here. So ready? Here I go. By the way, 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, right? 1, 2, 1, 1. So 1, 2 is 5, right? So if we run this again, So you always want to know, right? If I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5 ones, that's going to be a total of 5. And if I enter in 2, 2, 3, that's a 4, that's 7, right? Here we go. And there you go. So the trick here, right, is to know that strings are iterable. You can loop through every element in every position in a string, every character in a string. And then I'm just going to force that particular string to become a number. This is called casting. I'm casting or typecasting that number, which is a string. I know, it's weird, I know. And I'm saying accumulate the values of all those numbers, all right? So there's problem set 8. There you go. I think I did all the problems. Yes, I taught very quickly. Yes, I'll turn on wrapping here so you can see the code a little better. And I'd probably put this in a function so I can reuse it. I'll just call it convert to add, I don't know, I'll just call it main, all right, because I don't want to pick some word right now. And then I'm going to indent all this code, highlighted, tab, and then I'll call my friend the main function, and I will run it. Here we go. I don't know, I'll do 0, 0, 0, a whole bunch of zeros, right? Boom, 0. I'll run main again. Can I do that? Yeah, no, I can't, by the way. So let me do this. Let me run it again. I'll enter just a whole bunch of numbers, right? And there is my total, all right? Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to shoot me that extra credit code word that I mentioned earlier in the video. And that's it. Have a good weekend. That's it. Bye.